audiences. The views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect those of the PFC Entertainment Network or any of the affiliates that make this show possible.
This is the Pure Fury Creations Entertainment Network.
On tonight's show, we will be looking at the Seahawks' victory over the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Justin Verlander is returning home to the Detroit Tigers. We look back on a wild week for the Detroit Pistons. All that and more here tonight on the Sports Reel podcast right now.
If it's in the headlines, on the first page or the last, it's fair game here on the Sports Reel podcast.
And we welcome you to the Sports Reel podcast live on the PFC Entertainment Network, along with Tim Sheridan and Eric Mendal. I'm Jason Clouse, and as you can see, if you are joining us live, we have a couple guests that we will be bringing on here in just a moment. But before we do, gentlemen, the main event of the week is here, the Sports Reel podcast live across the platforms of our Facebook, YouTube, and Riverside.fm. Good to see you. How's things in your neck of the woods?
Things are warmer, Jason. They're getting a lot warmer. It was 28 degrees outside today, so compared to what it's been a heat wave.
40. When I came here, it was 40 degrees.
Well, it might be 40 now, but when I went outside earlier, it was 28.
Yeah, it was 40.
But either way, if it was 40, it was like a heat wave. I was out there in my bikini, watering the grass, getting ready for spring.
There's still snow on the grass.
Shut up. Let me tell my stories,
Okay,
you
sorry.
motherfucker.
Sorry.
God's sakes, you're ruining everything.
Sorry.
Just ruining everything. No, things are good, man. Like, it was beautiful out today. It was a nice day off. I had a million things going on, just like I do every Tuesday. Kids, doctor's appointments, shit like that. But I'm just fucking excited to be back here on the podcast, bringing everybody some sports stuff. Eric, how you doing?
Not too bad, just like you said, it was warm out. It was a nice day, a little slow at work, but was looking forward to the day like usual and just ready to talk about everything going on in the sports world. Tigers are making moves, the Super Bowl and everything. So not too shabby.
You saying there was a Super Bowl that happened?
There was. Wasn't a great one, but there was.
Yeah, I don't know too many people who actually. I'll ask this question a little bit. Jason, how you doing?
Not too bad, man. Pretty, like you. Pretty things have been pretty busy. I'm back to work. After
About time.
Yeah, listen. It's taken me a minute to get reacclimated to, not just the physical bullshit that goes on there, but, the
mental that you got to make yourself go to work every day.
Well, it's just, Eric, when you work at a place like that and it's being managed by people who have no shitting idea what truly happens with the job, like they come out of college and because they have a piece of paper that says, I went to college, that makes them some sort of expert, but have never, ever gotten their hands grubby or dirty or anything like that,
I get it.
Then you're going to tell me how the fuck I'm going to do my job that I've been doing this particular portion for over 7 years. I can do this shit blindfolded, okay?
Sounds like a giant corporation. Sounds like everyone.
It really is, man. But
I was going to say, it sounds like we're working at the same place.
It's
I say this
it,
all sounds familiar to me. So
it's a shit show, but it gives me more than enough ammunition
No,
for comedy. What the hell's he doing?
I've got
Okay,
the lights behind us.
full
Running a little
disclosure.
behind.
Tim's on one here tonight, so this is going to be this is going to be a
Usually
good.
when he's on one, it's not a good thing.
We do have two very special guests who will be joining us here live right now on the show. Zach and Skylar from Jive Sports. Gentlemen, good to see you. Zach, you were here a few weeks back when we looked back on the year in review in sports here on the show. You now bring to the podcast.
Got
your
in there, dude.
How's things?
Got in there.
Yeah, I would like to say that I think that December 30th show was probably the best show in either of our histories. It surely went the longest.
I tasted that one.
A couple of quick things I just wanted to say before I let Skylar take the floor. Jason, I see your coffee mug or whatever that is, Titanic.
Yeah.
During COVID, real quick, I got into this rabbit hole of going back and forth on YouTube with these people that were trying to reenact and recreate the Titanic sinking, and these freaking nerds were like arguing over how it sunk. So Titanic is a really interesting topic. I'm glad to be here. Glad to talk about the Tigers specifically because some interactions and conversations we had last show. But I'll shut up. Skylar wasn't here last time, but he's a co-host. He's a Sky Dog. He's a Patriots fan. That'll have some relevance here shortly. But go ahead, Sky Dog, and let them know who you are.
Sky Dog.
I'm just another guy just talking sports. Glad to be here. Glad for the opportunity. Good time to talk about Tigers getting into spring training and getting into the NBA and covering some of the Red Wings while they're on Olympic break.
I do like that.
And we'll get into the Olympics too, for sure, because I've been all about the Olympics so far.
I've been watching curling, so.
Oh, yeah.
Curling. We just
I
talked
did.
about curling earlier.
Yeah, the U.S. got silver.
They
Damn
did.
it, they should have got gold.
Yeah, we spent about 20 minutes talking about curling.
Yeah, I still don't fucking understand curling at all. But I tell you what, when you drink a beer and people
My
are
buddy's
yelling,
dad
it's fun.
My buddy's dad explained it more. I got a better concept of it. I'm like, wow, this is actually pretty intense.
I had a guy at work trying to explain it to me. I was like, I really don't want to know the rules because it'll probably ruin it for me.
That's
like,
fair.
to be honest, like, if
No,
I had a
it's-
beer in my hand.
The actual rules are way more interesting and I don't know, more strategic than you'd expect because it's not like cornhole where you're on the board counts or whatever. It's just whatever's the closest to the button, so you can
He's
eliminate
right.
3 points.
100%,
You can eliminate
he's
3
right.
points if you get closest. So it's very interesting. I love curling. I wish it was a more popular sport all year round.
No, it's definitely, the rules. It definitely makes it more interesting to watch and definitely better to understand. So he's not wrong about that.
I think the
Be-
rules
be-
would ruin
because-
it for me. I just want to hear
because,
people fucking
like,
yell.
if you were watching that gold medal game, I went into the eighth game or the eighth end. I'm like, the United States is about to fucking win this gold medal. And I was like about to explain to my girlfriend, I'm like, they're about to win because here's why. They have to lose by 2 or more, and they can play defense and knock these stones out. They should be able to get this. And then because of how it works, they lose.
Yeah, it's
I'll try-
we should have had fucking gold, damn it. And I don't even have I'll get in the Olympics
The
later.
game I was watching, the couple had 100% accuracy shooting, and they're lights out.
What,
But-
the American couple?
Yep.
Oh
The
yeah, they
guy,
were
girl, and all that.
fucking
Yeah, they're lights out.
fantastic. I was watching them.
They're lights out. But let's get into
That's on my board right there. The Corys, Corey Dropkin and Corey Thies.
I just call them the Yellers because they just
They love the Yellowstone.
or the sweepers.
Jason, get us into what we need to talk about. He's getting sidetracked.
We'll get to the Olympics here later on in the program, but let's start with the big event that took place this past Sunday afternoon, and with that, the Seattle Seahawks with a victory over the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 60, winning their second Super Bowl championship. This is not a game that a lot of people saw work out the way that it did. I sure as hell did. Like I knew it was going to be a defensive, game to some extent. But Tim, we'll start with you. Your overall reaction to what we saw on Sunday.
Oh fuck! I'm starting. Fuck you.
I'll let you start, Eric.
I'm happy that Sam Darnold got a ring. I'm happy because he was a first of all, he was a third first of all, or no, he wasn't first overall. I think he was third in that 2018 class. Jets was horrible. Went to the Panthers, didn't do good. Was a backup in San Fran. Then went to Minnesota, did 14-3, gave the Minnesota Vikings a winning record in how long? And then you just, oh yeah, fuck you, go. We're not going to sign you again because we have JJ. Then you go to Seattle and you win the Super Bowl. Yeah, I'm happy he got his ring. I'm very happy about that. And the Seattle's defense is definitely legit. They played what they needed to play. They played lights out. They held the Patriots to what they needed to, but the Patriots didn't play good either. They definitely did not play their game. I can say that.
Are you ready for me now?
Yeah, no, I just want to cut you off.
All right. So I made a prediction last week on this show how the Super Bowl was going to go. And before I get to that real quick, I'm going to ask our two guests here. Do any of you guys actually know anybody who had a Super Bowl party this year?
Yes.
I knew a couple people.
Skylar knows that I know, but I didn't end up making it there.
Oh, because most of the people I know who have Super Bowl parties, myself included, I couldn't draw enough interest in this Super Bowl to get anybody to actually come to my fucking house. So we didn't even have one this year.
Because the Chiefs weren't in it. That's why.
Well, it could be because the Chiefs aren't in
I
it.
already know how you work.
Yeah. Well, I love the Chiefs. But on the other hand, anyways, I made a prediction last week on how the Super was going to go, and I called a score of 24-10, and I was a little off on that. It ended up being 29-10. And Chase, and I brought this up to somebody at work the other day, and I showed him the clip of Chase a few weeks ago talking about, or I think it was 4 or 5 weeks ago, Chase was on the show, which is my 14-year-old son, by the way, and he was talking about Drake May and the Patriots, and he pretty much called them for what they were, to be honest. They had one of the easiest schedules in the league.
Mm-hmm.
The only really hard team they had to face, and let's be honest with each other, was the Bills, and they split with them, and they had a pretty easy ride through the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you had to go through Houston, which didn't have much of an offense, but that defense was truly legit.
Was tough, yeah.
The defense was legit, and then to have to go through Denver without Bo Nix.
Yeah.
I think that game would have turned out differently if Bo Nix was on the field, to be honest.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I'm not taking anything away from New England itself personally, because New England, I do think, has a legit defense at this point in time. I don't know if I'm a Drake May believer yet. I need to see him, on a little bit. I want to see what he does next year, to be honest, when they're going to have a harder schedule.
Yeah.
If he comes out next year and he starts, playing the same way that he did this year, he could change my mind, to be honest.
Fair.
But the way that he played in that Super Bowl does not change my mind at all.
That's fair.
That New England offense couldn't do shit against Seattle. And I think everybody on the show last week called, that Seattle was going to win this thing, and I figured it was going to be pretty much a blowout. I think everybody besides Isaac called it a one-score game for Seattle. I called it a two-score game, which I was right. Jason also called it a two-score game. I think you called it a two-score game too. I think 3 out of the 4 of us on the show last week called a two-score game, and don't get me wrong, that New England defense was fucking phenomenal. They really shut down that offense.
That first half and all that.
Yeah, and they didn't get much through. When I go through the stats here in a minute, Sam Darnold, I'll just run through them real quick. It was 29-13. Darnold went for 202 with 1 touchdown. Walker went for 135 rushing, which he ended up being the MVP. And then Kupp went for 61 yards receiving because JSN ended up being hurt for the majority of this game, but then ended up coming back in. And then May, he went for 295 with 2 touchdowns. But I got to say, one of those touchdowns was kind of a throw it up there and hope it fucking works touchdown. That was their first one that they got. He just threw that thing in the air and was like, hopefully my guy comes down with it. And then he also had 37 yards rushing, and then Hollins had 78 yards receiving, 1 touchdown. It was kind of a one-sided game offensively, but both sides' defense did really, really well. But it worked out exactly how I thought it was going to work out. Who said that, Scott? I mean, I get that, Scott, but they also didn't fucking stop. Why are you going to? No, that's not what I'm bringing up, Scott. That's not what I'm saying. It's got nothing to do with Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, wouldn't it be 4 defenses? Because what was the Chargers? Because
The Chargers had a good defense too.
Broncos, Chargers, Seattle, and Houston. All of them. Were top 10.
I think the Chargers were technically like 6th or 7th.
Yeah. The point I'm making is he didn't go against the strongest offenses. So as long as you can score a little bit, because their defense is legit.
He doesn't play against the other offense. He plays against the defense.
That's very correct. But their defense, which I also said on here is legit, stops the other team's offense from scoring. So the one thing I think personally that New England's lacking right now is a little bit of offensive talent. That defense, I think, could carry him to a Super Bowl.
Well, they did because defense wins championships, offense wins games, and they didn't have an offense.
No.
We gave up 3 touchdowns in the entire playoffs. You look at the offense, you can tell the talent's really not there. The line, you have 2 rookies on the left side of the line against a team that blitzed the majority of the game.
Yeah, and Campbell.
You were a sack away from tying the Super Bowl record. I mean, it's hard to do anything when you're constantly under pressure. You've seen Mahomes that way twice in the Super Bowl. You saw Burrow that way in the Super Bowl. I don't take anything negative away from Drake May in this game. He had the 2 best throws in this game.
I think one of them was a lucky throw, to be honest, that his guy came up with.
That's the best spot you could put that ball to get it to Mac Hollins for a touchdown.
Are you talking about the first one?
Yeah,
or the second one?
Well, I mean, the first one, that is the best spot it can be because it's to a big receiver. Only he can get it.
I don't know, man. He sky-mailed that thing. Like, that could have went either way.
If he sky-mailed it, then why did he get caught?
Because he's got a good receiver, but he sky-mailed that shit. Like, I'll call that.
That was just like Caleb Williams sky-mailing it into the end zone.
Yeah, like Caleb Williams did the same thing, but Caleb Williams also, like, in that game, I know exactly the game you're talking about. He sky-mailed it.
In the end zone?
Yeah, but he skied that thing. That was a crazy fucking play. That was the first game of the playoffs where I started going, this shit is rigged. It's got to be rigged. But obviously watching what came out to be, because to be honest with you, like if the NFL was rigged, this wouldn't have been the matchup that they wanted in the Super Bowl.
True.
So like it would have probably been leaning towards the Bills in the Super Bowl if it was rigged because that'd bring in better ratings. But like... but no, I'm not taking anything away from Drake May. Like I said, like I don't know if I believe in him yet. I need to see what he does next season. If he does really well next season, I'll be a believer in Drake May. I'm a believer in their defense right now. I'm not a believer in Campbell on that left tackle. But then again, he's a rookie, correct?
Yeah, he did come out too that he did tear a ligament. Like mid-season too, and played through it, so I give him that.
Well, you're playing hurt, yeah, I give him that. But yeah, I mean,
That's why you sit down.
You should, but
I mean, hurt the team longer in the long run. So yeah, I agree with that. He should have.
Yeah,
not really. I mean, when he missed the last 4 weeks of the regular season with that MCL injury, and Vidarian Lowe looked perfectly fine at left tackle while he was out.
So do you think they should have made that switch?
More.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They should have. Yeah. And that might be, then that's that. I blame that on the coach at that point.
Yeah.
By not making that switch.
Somebody.
Either
you got to make that switch.
Staff, the training staff, somebody.
So now, like, we know that you're a Patriots fan, Skylar. What do you think they need to do to improve on next season? Because obviously they did really well this season. Don't get me wrong, but it's hard to judge because, like I said at the beginning of this whole rant, that they had the easiest schedule in the NFL. And I think even though Scott brought up that they fucking, you had to go through some of the top defenses to get to the Super Bowl. I personally think they had an easy road through the playoffs because, Houston, the Chargers, I think was their toughest game, to be honest.
I agree.
Because
everything. I agree with you, Tim, at all.
Yeah, Houston, they didn't have much of an offense this year, but that defense was legit. Defense, like Eric brought up, wins championships. But when you can't score the points, you can't win the games. And then they had to go against Denver, and I fully believe that if Bo Nix was in that game would have been different, and Denver would have been in the Super Bowl.
Everyone knows that, yeah.
But I still think if Bo Nix was in that game, we're in the Super Bowl. But that's personal belief.
That's the same thing. I mean, I would feel the same way about the Lions. I mean, you're a Patriot fan. I'm a Lions fan. You know what I mean? Like, we're always going to say that about our team. But, like, where they sit right now after watching that Super Bowl performance, what do you think they need to fix in this offseason before next year starts?
And take a deep breath real quick. Take a deep breath and then answer.
I'm perfectly fine. The first thing they need to do is they need to address the playmaking situation on the offense. They need to go get an actual number one wide receiver. I don't know if they want to answer that in the draft. I don't know if I'd personally move a second round pick to the Eagles and go get AJ Brown, who wants to come back and play for Mike Vrabel anyways.
Wouldn't be bad.
Something needs to happen to improve the offense before anything.
But let me ask you that you're trading. So you didn't bring up Diggs there, but now you're talking about bringing Brown. So you're talking about two pain in the asses that just bitch about everything. Like, do you really want AJ Brown? Like, that guy's kind of known to be a
Absolutely.
pain in the ass. Like, if he's
I don't
not
know,
getting,
he didn't give many problems to Vrabel when he was in Tennessee.
I mean, that's true. That's true. I
That's
mean, I
fair.
could see that.
But in Tennessee at that time, he was like the only player there besides him. It was him and Derrick Henry was the offense.
That's true.
But
too.
when he has
didn't-
when he has to share the ball, what does he do? He'll bitch when they're winning.
That's fine. I
And
prefer
he has done that this week,
diva
too.
mentality in a wide receiver. I would rather have that mentality if it means having, an elite wide receiver on this team.
I mean, I guess if
Is
you
he
really
elite?
look,
Because in that playoff game against the 49ers, he dropped 3 passes in crucial moments, a couple
yeah, that happens.
third
though.
downs.
That's
But
just
you
football.
can't do it after you bitch about not getting the ball, and then 3 targets that were in your hands you drop in the most crucial moments of a playoff game.
Yeah, and
I don't-
it happens. It's happened to multiple big name wide receivers in the past. You move on.
All right, guys, you move on.
yeah. So, I mean, we've all had our thought. Jason, what did you think? I'm sure you watched the Super Bowl. You were probably at work watching it.
Listen, I understand why people were shitting on the game the way that they were. Because when your first handful of scores are field goals, it's not really what people have come to expect with the last game of the season. Like, this is the biggest sporting event of the year. I didn't hate it. I it wasn't. I don't know. I gave it 3 stars if I'm doing a star rating. Like, I didn't hate it. I appreciated the pomp and the circumstance. But Tim, you said something earlier, and it really resonated because I too found the same thing. Why was this year such a down year in terms of people having parties, people being excited? Because there just wasn't a lot of hype that I'm used to seeing in the weeks leading up to the game. And is it because it was the Seattle Seahawks? Is it because it was the New England Patriots? Did we have it in our mind? We expected this team or that team or this combination, and because that didn't happen, because on paper nobody saw this matchup for the Super Bowl. But I think that's why it's going to stand out. I'm going to look back on this game like this one is going to stand out for a number of reasons. Um, so I haven't seen what the ratings are yet for NBC's coverage of it, but I'm going to be very interested to see that and see where it stacks up. I didn't.
It was huge this year for ratings wise. I think the last number I saw was something like 103rd, maybe 126 million or something. Like, it was a big Super Bowl event, but I don't know if it was the teams or if it was just the NFL itself this year with the hype, because I think that leading up to this thing, I think so many people had in their mind what teams were going to make it. And I know that we did too. Like, once the playoffs started, I was like, Bills all the way. Like, I want to see Josh Allen get a ring. Like, I think Josh Allen deserves a ring. I want to see him get one. And plus, obviously, I've said this a million times. My wife is an Allen fan. She's a Bills fan. Like, she's became that all on her own. So in our house, like, we had to root with the wife, or, we get beat. Like, it's just the way that it is, or dinner doesn't get cooked, or, like, we're not allowed to have TV time. But, I think a lot of people had in their minds what teams they wanted to make it. And then all of a sudden it was the Seahawks and the Patriots, which there's nothing wrong with either one of those teams. The Seahawks were a legit team this year, and also the Patriots were a legit team this year. I mean, both of them did really, really well. It just wasn't the teams that I think people expected to actually make it. They weren't the powerhouses going into this year. And in fact, if you were to look back at the beginning of the season, I don't know fucking anybody besides maybe Skylar because you're a Patriots fan. Or would you even have picked the Patriots to make it to the Super Bowl this year? Like that, honest question for you,
I didn't have
Skylar.
them in the Super Bowl. I
Yeah.
had them winning the division. I had them losing in the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's the thing
took
is
the
like,
Seahawks. I took the Seahawks to win the division. I knew they would be good. I didn't think they would be that good. But can I tell you what I think's the actual answer here?
yeah,
I think because of the halftime kind of drama, a lot of people were mentally checked out 2 months ago over the Super Bowl because they were tired of hearing the discussion over, they made the Super Bowl a political thing when it didn't need to be. So I think a lot of people they just didn't want to talk about it. They didn't want to. If you ask somebody, hey, what do you get? You gonna watch the Super Bowl? They're gonna ask, well, are you gonna watch the halftime show? Which is the least important thing of the Super Bowl is the halftime show. Nobody ever cares. But I think people were mentally just like, I don't even want to open that door personally. But I do think a lot of people watch it. They just aren't going to tell you they did because they don't want to answer that question.
then that could be the case, and I could see that, and that might have something to do with it because yeah, I mean that's the way the world is these days. But I don't know. It was just it was a weird year for the Super Bowl. There just wasn't the hype that there usually is along with the Super Bowl. Whatever the reason is, it kind of sucked, and it might be. And that's another reason I brought up a little bit earlier when I said, at that point with Caleb Williams throw, that's where I thought maybe the NFL's fucking rigged. But then all of a sudden, like we get this Super Bowl matchup, and I go, "There's no way this shit's rigged because if the NFL wanted it, they would take their two teams with the highest percentage of watched games, which probably this year would probably been, maybe the Bills at that point in time in the AFC, and you would match those teams up. So like that's why that the shit's not rigged. But like it wasn't as much hype. And as a football fan myself, I watched the Super Bowl. It was a great game. Some people say it was boring. I like defensive battles, to be honest, but I also like the fucking like a lot of fucking scoring. I like fast-paced football. I mean, I like it both ways. Like anything that's happening on that field, I generally like, unless it's like a fucking 3-7 game and there's not a lot of anything going on and there's no action going on at all. But there was a lot of action going on in that game, and a lot of it was defensively. I mean, I think what did Seattle end up with 7 sacks? I think they did tie the record.
Yeah, they did a good job defensively.
Yeah. They tied the record by the end of the game because they had one more at the end of the game that tied the record. Skylar's audio's turned off.
That pick 6 that they had that actually canceled out the record. It was initially ruled a fumble.
I thought so too.
Since it was ruled an interception, it was taken off. So they only had 6, not 7.
I thought so too, but we checked this at work because I thought the same thing, and a guy brought up that there was one more sack after that took place.
No,
so I think there was 7.
Even if you look at if you look at the box score, they only had 6 sacks.
Oh, they only had 6. Okay, so
yeah.
But either way, like that, I mean, there was a lot of action going on. Like it was just a defensive game. And sometimes that can be exciting too. So I thought it was a great Super Bowl, to be honest. Like overall, it was a great game. I stayed up for all of it. And it was what I expected out of the game. You know what I mean? It wasn't hard. I think most people who watch football all the time pick the Seahawks to win that game because if you watch it all the time, you realize Seahawks were kind of built a little bit different this year, and none of us expected it. Like I picked the Rams to go all the way.
Yeah.
To be honest, I thought the Rams were a little bit better of a built team, especially after Charbonnet and stuff got hurt for the Seahawks. And I was never a believer in Darnold, but maybe I start being a little bit of a believer in Darnold. Like I got to give Darnold
He has a
credit. Ring. Yeah, now he's got a ring. But
I thought the Charbonnet injury helped them because Kenneth Walker is so great. Same. This is a little kudos to Jason there as the lone Michigan State fan. Kenneth Walker is my favorite Michigan State product of the last, I don't know, however many years. I love his story in college, going from Wake Forest, where they didn't know what to do with him, to being a Heisman candidate at Michigan State, the 5 touchdown game against Michigan. I love Kenneth Walker. I was happy to see him win the MVP. I liked the Seahawks a lot the entire year. I thought they were the class of the NFC. I did not take them to win the Super Bowl preseason, but I thought they would be great. I picked them to pick the NFC West. I didn't pick them to go to the Super Bowl, but they were a lot better. And the thing that was weird is Eric and I normally don't agree on much, but the first topic we talk about tonight, Eric and I agree. I was happy for Sam Darnold. I've been calling him Dick Hammer's grandson all year because during his draft, they mentioned that his grandfather was Dick Hammer, a track star at USC, also an actor, often mistaken as the Marlboro Man. But this year, I think he deserved to be his own man. And for now on, I'm calling him Sam Darnold, Super Bowl champion. Shout out Seahawks. Shout out the Pacific Northwest. And people that didn't realize how good they were just weren't watching enough football. They were too localized. I think that's part of the problem, too, is they're not a big market team. But they were beating ass all year. We had an ongoing joke in our group chats. Anybody who just happened to be up at any given time, you say touchdown Seahawks, because if you watched or paid attention to a lot of their games, they were burying people. And a lot of times, people don't understand that JSN was on track to break the receiving record. They barely threw the ball. They were the least, percentage-wise of passing the ball. They ran the ball more than anybody because they didn't have to. But what was weird in the Super Bowl is they're up 12-0, they're up multiple scores, and they're passing more than they're running, which is weird to me. I think they should have won by more. But I'll shut up. I think that was a great game. Obviously, really boring. If you're a sports fan, if you got money on the game, if you're betting on TD parlays, you probably weren't happy. But for fans of defense and good football, I thought it was a good game.
No, it definitely was. So, congrats to the Seahawks. Congrats to Sam Darnold. I call him Darnold. I'm going to have to start believing in that guy. And I think he was the first one out of that draft class quarterback-wise that's actually made it to a Super Bowl and won one.
So you had Baker. Now that I'm thinking about it, you had Baker at first, Darnold at 3, Josh Allen at 7, Lamar at 32.
Yeah.
And you can fact check me on that,
and
too.
also,
I think I'm spot on.
Can't forget Josh Rosen.
Was not in the first round.
And also, Sam Darnold's the first USC quarterback to start and win a Super Bowl, which you think is kind of weird.
So, give mass credit to him. Give credit to Kenneth Walker for getting that Super Bowl MVP. And that was your guys' Super Bowl. It was exciting. And now, right here, right now, we are just days out of this Super Bowl. Should we make Super Bowl picks for next year? Who's going to the Super Bowl next year?
Hold on. I do have one question for Zach, though. You mentioned Kenneth Walker was probably one of the best products you liked out of Michigan State. What about Bell, though? Le'Veon Bell?
Yeah, but the problem...
Does the Super Bowl push him over a little bit more?
So, real quickly about the Super Bowl MVP, I thought Michael Dixon, the punter, should have got it, personally.
Okay. That would have been interesting, but okay. He definitely did do a good job of pinging them deep. I'll give you that. That's for sure.
Phenomenal. Le'Veon Bell is obviously, for fantasy owners and people that were watching from 2014 to 2020 or whatever, the most dominant back in the league at that time, receiving and rushing.
Mm-hmm.
What a talent that just kind of squandered it away with drama. And that's
Fair.
kind of probably the knock against him is his prime was great, but he had 3 or 4 years of it. I would lean towards Le'Veon Bell being better based on what he was able to do, but Kenneth Walker is 25, and he's got time to match that or surpass it. So time will only tell. But Le'Veon Bell, Javon Walker, Le'Veon Bell, a couple other running backs that they had that have gone pro.
Javon Ringer went pro for a while.
I said Ringer. But I love Michigan State produces great running backs. They do.
Okay, I was just curious about that, but no, you're definitely not wrong. And they even mentioned Le'Veon Bell, Kenneth Walker being patient like Bell on that one run where he literally stayed back there for a second and then took off like Bell did. But that was just my Just thought, because I'm like, whenever I think of Michigan State running backs, I think of Bell, but definitely Kenneth Walker's right there too. So.
Well, I just remember Javon Ringer, for having that 50 plus carry yard game where he broke the record for most carries in a game.
Yep.
And
yep.
I think it was a downpour game against if it was Michigan.
I don't remember who it was, but yeah, I remember it was a really wet game. You're not wrong about that. That's for sure. But should we? So you want to do Super Bowl predictions?
Yeah, I wanted to real quick right now because it's February 10th. The season just ended.
They made a graphic of the Super Bowl and all that. And so who's the closest to it? I already know who the closest.
Oh, dude, they made this one hard because they had a bunch of people out front.
No, they had Kamara and a Miami Dolphin closest to it. And I'm just like, if it's gonna be a New Orleans and Miami Super Bowl, that'd be something different.
That would definitely be something different, especially
that'd be amazing.
Both of them that had.
That'd be something different.
But then again, we just watched the Seahawks and
so it's
you never know. The Seahawks and
Miami and New Orleans kind of turned it on at the end.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. They definitely started pulling it together.
They did too. They had like a 4 or 5 game win streak going on there.
You also got to realize they got a whole new coaching staff, so
that is true too.
That team's going to be completely different.
That is true.
Yeah, but if you listen to what did Miami got? What they got? Who'd they get? Vrabel?
I think so.
Who, Miami?
Wrong.
No, they got Jeff Hafley from.
Oh, Hafley. Yeah, they got Hafley. Yeah, we had Zach on from not Zach, but we had Isaac last week from Fun Football Podcast, and he said he would never believe in him because he's a Green Bay fan. He's like, I don't believe in Hafley at all.
Shout out to the former BC Eagles coach.
Yeah.
That hire made the least amount of sense.
Real quick, let's finish up NFL. We're here February 10th, 2026. Well before the season starts. We don't know what's going to happen in the draft. We don't know anything that's going to happen yet. We don't know what's going to happen in free agency. Who's going to the Super Bowl next year? Skylar, we'll start with you.
Oh, let's have a little bit of fun with this one. I think I'm going to go a little off the wall and go with the Los Angeles Chargers for the AFC and the New Orleans Saints for the NFC. I really believe in the Saints team. They've got a really solid defense. I think they're just a couple pieces away on their offense, and Kellen Moore is the type of coach that could easily take this team through the NFC South and go to the Super Bowl.
He has been a solid coach.
Yeah.
Coordinator. He has been a solid coordinator for him, and he's definitely turned them around. So I don't hate that. I don't hate that pick. Zach, what's yours?
So Matt Stafford's coming back. And for the folks at home that don't realize, the fuck them picks Rams actually have 2 first-round picks?
I believe so.
So I feel like that has to be.
That's pretty scary
for a team that could have won this year. I mean, if you put them in the Super Bowl against the Patriots or the Broncos or the Bills, they're probably the favorite. So give me the Rams versus Patrick Mahomes.
Ooh.
Oh, I mean, I like half that pick there, Zach. I like it as being a.
Give me the Rams to win it all, and then
I don't know.
Give me the Rams to win it all, and then Stafford retires, and Sean McVay is crowned best coach ever.
I just don't.
You guys know that Sean McVay's not even 40 years old, and he's already done all this shit.
He's young.
So if he does this shit for another 15, 18 years, just by the laws of mathematics, that he just will be. You know what I mean?
No, I agree with you 100%. Like, I like Sean McVay. Like, I do. Like, I mean, we had a thing a couple weeks ago when it was the Rams and Bears on which head coach is better, and I picked Sean McVay. And it might be because I'm still a little sore over Ben Johnson, that traitor motherfucker.
For Eric Cherry in the chat, we didn't mention this, but I'm not a huge believer in Clint Kubiak just based on the offense and kind of what they did in the Super Bowl. I thought it was weird that they abandoned the run. They should just Kenneth Walker probably easily could have had 200+ yards and 2 touchdowns.
I mean,
but they just started throwing it for no reason.
But I mean,
he's just weird.
I don't believe in the ball 32 times.
All right, Jason, what's your pick for next year's Super Bowl?
Panthers and Browns.
Panthers and Browns. You got to give a little credit to yourself and a little credit to Vinny there in the chat. Vinny, somebody went with you there, brother.
Vinny.
Yeah. Okay. Eric.
Honestly, the sleeper I'm thinking is it's going to be the Giants. I think with John Harbaugh coming in there and Dart and Scadaboo come back, I
Man,
think he's going to
Eric,
turn
what
around.
the hell happened, man? I used to
Dude,
hate you, but now I
they're
think you
scary.
and me
They're
are
scary. I think they're going
our
to be the
bosom
sleeper.
brothers.
Honestly, I think they're going to be a sleeper, and I think the AFC team. I don't know. The one I'm really thinking is going to be. I really think the Bills are finally going to make it. I really do.
I can see that.
I think Josh, because I don't know how soon Mahomes is going to come back. I don't know how Baltimore's going to bounce back without John Harbaugh and Burrow. I hear a lot of talk about Minnesota going all in for Burrow. So you don't know. I think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be a New York Giants and Buffalo Super Bowl. And that'd be crazy because that's
New York team versus the real New York team.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That'd be crazy right there.
I could see that. All right. I think
you got, Tim?
Next year. I mean, I'm always going to do this because I'm sticking to my guns. I think the Detroit Lions are going to make their first appearance in the Super Bowl next year.
I wanted to, but I was like, I don't know. It depends on what they do this year.
Yeah,
but.
and I think I'm going to throw Scott off here because Scott's going to assume that I'm going to pick my Chiefs to make the Super Bowl. But I am not going to pick my Chiefs to make the Super Bowl. I think the Bills are going to make it to their.
Oh, you're going to pick the dream Super Bowl, the Detroit versus Buffalo.
I picked this fucking. I think last year I picked the Chiefs Lions. I was way off, but this year I'm picking the Chiefs Bills, or not the Chiefs. I mean, sorry, the Lions Bills. Lions
What
Bills.
do you guys
Super Bowl next year.
What do you guys think is the difference for the Bills that puts them over the edge? Because they just had their best opportunity and
they did. We've said that a million times.
They did, and
everybody has, but I'm just saying, why? When do you learn your lesson?
I'm hoping.
I think firing their coach. I think that will change it.
But I don't even know, and that worries me too.
But everybody thought that was terrible, and
that is
they
true
should have
too.
fired the GM.
That's
a
fair
another,
statement.
yeah,
That's
a fair statement. And I was a little baffled by the fact that they fired their coach and then promoted their offensive coordinator when their offense was kind of the issue going in there. Towards
I don't know. I mean, they led the league in rushing. It's hard.
They did, but they made some bad offensive calls there at the end of the year that kind of cost them.
Yeah, I know. They relied on Josh Allen to turn the ball over 4 times.
Yeah, it's just. But they're gonna figure this shit out eventually. Allen is too special of a talent not to make. And I've said this a million times. If Allen would have been drafted to an NFC team, he had been to a Super Bowl and won one already. But he's stuck in the AFC. And his best chance, just as Zach just brought up, his best chance was this year. I mean, we counted it out. There was no Mahomes, there was no Lamar, there was no Burrow. He just had to cruise through Bo Nix and Drake May, and he would have been able to not really cruise through because obviously we watched them play New England a couple times a year. They won one, they lost one. That was a tough matchup both times for them. But he had his best chance this year. The AFC has been a powerhouse for so many years now, and it's all of a sudden it's flipped. The NFC is the powerhouse now. So maybe with the NFC being the powerhouse, maybe Allen can actually squeeze in. We don't know, like Eric had brought up, we don't know when Mahomes is coming back. He's obviously not going to come back at the start of the season, so I don't count the Chiefs on really doing anything next year. Maybe they make a wild card by the time he comes back, but who knows? We don't even know anything about Travis Kelce coming back yet, and I don't even know if he'd make a difference unless they drafted another tight end. And then Lamar, I mean, is Baltimore going to be anything? They're kind of in shambles themselves too also. And then Cincinnati hasn't been shit in years because they don't have an offensive line. I think that frickin' Burrow's top 3 quarterback in the league, but he doesn't have an offensive line. He's just got 2 really good receivers, but nobody protect him to get them the ball. So this was his best chance, but I think next year it's Burrow's year, or not Burrow. I mean, sorry, Beer. That's at the beer moment. It's Allen's another best chance to make it next year. And then I think the Lions break through the hump and they make it. So I got Lions, Bills. And on that note, Jason, I think we move this shit on to the Detroit Red Wings.
We're going to go Tigers.
Oh, hold on. We'll go. I got a fucking stink bug on my mic. It's warm outside.
Yeah. We're talking about the Tigers and the moves they're making, and the spring's coming up. Spring train's coming up, and all that. So, Jason, you can lead us off, as we know how much you love baseball.
Well, listen, the breaking news this afternoon: one of the all-time greats in Tigers history is apparently on his way home. Something that we have been speculating for the last couple of years: was this going to be part of his exit strategy? Justin Verlander signed a 1-year deal with the Tigers here today and brings him back to where it all began. And you want to talk about a jolt of electricity. This had the local market here on fire with this news. This is how I woke up today. Tim actually called, and that's what woke me up. I got up, I called him. I had no idea what was going on. He's the one that actually told me. But listen, between this, between the arbitration win for Tarek Skubal, between the signing of Valdez, the Detroit Tigers, shockingly, seems like they are putting moves in place here to go all in. And with this last handful of weeks, there is renewed excitement for this team. Tim, you heard the news with Verlander.
I did.
What was your first reaction to this?
Well, one, I mean, we have to be realistic. We're dealing with a 40-something-year-old Justin Verlander. But as a fan of the Tigers, I've been wanting Verlander to come home to finish out his career here. Now, do I think we should start him? Maybe if he's got the juice next year, or do we use him out of bullpen? That might be a better choice, is using him out of the bullpen. But what he brings to the team, more so than pitching, is that veteran piece that we've been looking for.
And it could help Skubal and
Yeah, we're looking for that veteran piece to help guide some of these younger talents through. And I know Zach's got some shit to say about Skubal. And like, Zach, I am 100% totally disagreeing with you on the Skubal thing, because I know we've had this conversation before. Like, I will not sign this guy for a 10-year contract. It's not feasible. But what I think they're doing right now, and what they did, is they have shown signs, and I think we have a lot more to come, because they made another signing today too. They signed somebody from, I think, maybe the Mets or the Yankees. I can't remember what it was. Jason, if you can look that up real quick. Not a huge piece, but they made another signing. It's not like a Verlander piece. But Verlander brings that veteran mind into,
he's won a World Series now.
Yeah, that pitching room that can kind of help guide some of these younger talents, because we do have a very young team. And he could work out of that bullpen very, very well. He's older, but he's experienced. I mean, he's a multi-time Cy Young winner himself personally, and will also be able to finish out his career as a Detroit Tiger where it began. And he's going to be Hall of Fame bound, and he's going to be wearing a Tigers jersey when he's in the Hall of Fame.
If he brought a
He's
World
going to be
Series
wearing
here
an
before he
Astros
left.
jersey.
No, he'll be wearing a Tiger. He spent way more time
he's-
with the
I
Tigers.
was gonna say he'll be a Tiger.
Yeah, that's the whole
crazy.
point of coming back.
It'd be
Zach.
crazy. His 1-year deal. We bring a World Series here with him.
It'd be
On his
crazy.
last year. There's no way he wouldn't go out if that happened.
No, like, I mean, he was here the last
If
time we
that
went to the
happened.
World Series, and he's going to be here again. But this move right here kind of solidifies to me, and by not signing Skubal to a long-term 10-year fucking contract that I thought was ridiculous. Like, if he wanted 3 years, fine. And when they signed Valdez,
Even 5 or 6.
even 5 or 6,
Five and six would
five
be-
would be okay.
Yeah,
But
6
when you're
would be
talking
pushing
10, no. This move right here with the Valdez signing, that shows right here, right now, I think, and we're going to see a lot more coming.
Valdez, yeah.
I think the Tigers are making moves to go all in it this year. Like, this is an all-in move. With the Valdez signing more than the Verlander, I think they're going all in this year. Like, and we're going to see more coming. Just wait and see.
That is true.
like-
They do have some time to do it.
Yeah, somebody finally took somebody. Scott, yeah, like, Illich is coughing up some money here to sign Valdez. And I know they didn't sign Verlander for a lot, but in a 1-year deal, that was, I think, more of a bring him home and let him finish out his career here. I think, Skylar, you shook your head like, yeah, you'd use him out of the bullpen. I think he's going to be a bullpen piece. We have between Casey Mize and Skubal now and Valdez, I mean, we have a really good starting rotation. But the one thing I want to see with the Tigers, we need to bring in some bats. Zach has something to say. Zach, bring it.
Zach always has something to say.
No, I'll go last. Skylar, you tell him how you feel about the bullpen. and
Yep,
all
Scott, you can bring it up. Come on.
I mean, I like the signing. It's nice to see Verlander back in Detroit, but I don't know if I'd put him anywhere other than maybe 5th in this rotation. I think I'd rather rely on trying to get Jackson Jobe going in the bigs again over putting Verlander out there. I think Verlander's great for if you needed a guy to come in the second, third inning in a blown up game, or you need a spot start, he's somebody you can rely on. But he's somebody that I think they should save towards the end of the year. That way, you get in a pressure situation, you can go with somebody that's been there and dealt with it, and
That's very
just
true too.
rely on
So
the veteran.
so Skydog, I know you to be like a Boston across the board, but he is kind of a Detroit Tigers
He's a
kind
legend.
of.
He's icon.
Well,
He's an icon Tiger. That's for sure. Like, he's definitely one.
in
you
our
think of.
text, you said something about like, you're just gonna be a hater or something towards us.
What do you mean?
I don't know. That's just what your text said was.
No, I was saying
This
you
is-
were
this
going to
is
be a
good.
hater.
Well, you said this is good for us, or this is perfect timing for us.
Yeah, it was perfect
I've-
timing for us to talk about it.
Oh, okay. My bad.
It
So
was-
I'm just lit.
I mean,
So,
this
yeah, I
is-
mean,
this
I
is
don't know.
Something that doesn't really differ what's going on with the Red Sox. I mean, the AL East is a completely different monster that we got to worry about.
It's true. Okay, Zach, what's your opinion on all these signings and everything going on?
Well, man, I've been thinking about this all day because my last appearance on the show, a couple little fireworks went off, and a couple of them went off during the Tigers conversation, and it was about the Scooble thing. And apparently, they went to arbitration. I think it's a terrible look for the organization to go to arbitration with a two-time defending Cy Young Award winner, because I feel like it sends a bad message not only to free agents that might be on the market in the future. Well, you guys took half your earbuds off, but to the young talent you have on the team now. And I think Tim asked me, hey, well, what's your team? And I said I'm a Mets fan, and you guys both kind of like laughed or giggled. We're not responsible for what our ownership does, which is a point that I tried to make. I don't decide what happens, but I try to be unbiased and judge the same way, and I would be just as critical towards the teams that I like as I am against others. So the Mets, for example, did not make or match or better the offer for Pete Alonso, who went to the Baltimore Orioles after breaking the home run record, and that annoys me. So I feel like it's a bad look to make this messy when it didn't have to be, to not sign him. I know that the rumors were going around 10 years, $500 million. I think there was a way to not have to do that, but give him what he wanted and both be happy. So then when the Valdez Fromber or Frombier, whatever thing happened the same day, I felt that was almost a slap in the face, and it's kind of like whatever. But the other conversation that we had in that last appearance was, and we're all drinking, so maybe it's partly my fault, but when we're talking about him having Tommy John surgery, I said, well, people are having ACLs and Achilles surgery. My point is that medical science is allowing a lot of these previously devastating, almost career-threatening injuries to not be as effective. So when you hear Tommy John surgery, it's not like the death sentence it used to be, especially when you consider he's won 2 Cy Young since. And so when I see that Verlander got signed today, he had Tommy John surgery.
He did.
He's 43 years old, and he got $13 million, which is, I think what they wanted to pay him was Scooble was like 19, but then they're talking about like 25 to 27, then he ended up getting like 32 or 33. I just think personally, I want you guys to understand, I don't mean this to be personal. I'm just a sports fan outside looking at different situations. I'm a Mets fan, so I know that all the bullshit they do. I just mentioned Pete Alonso being, let him walk after break the home run record. I would not have done that to Scooble, personally. There's a way around it.
Yeah. So
Jason's got something building up. Jason.
hold on,
Let's
Jason.
hear.
Let me go real quick. So when I'm saying like, and you bring up the last show and stuff like that, when I was saying like, we don't want to sign Skubal for 10 years because, and part of my reason was, yeah, he's had 2 Tommy Johns already. 10 years is a long time for a pitcher. Now, we're not talking to Shohei Ohtani here, who can also hit 50 home runs a year. We're talking to Tarek Skubal.
He had Tommy John too.
Yeah, but he can also hit 50 home runs a year. There's a different thing. You take a pitcher.
But would you be paying? Would he be worth $500 million if he wasn't good both ways?
If you're hitting over 50 home runs a year, probably. Yes. Yeah, because you're getting a two-way player there. Skubal's not a two-way player. So if they want to sign him for 5 for 250, I was 100% behind that. But there's also other caveats to that. In that game that knocked us out of the playoffs last year, we needed Skubal for at least one more inning. One more inning. If he would have pitched one more inning, we might have gave through that and moved on in the next round. Skubal came out and told AJ, hey, I'm done after 90-something pitches. He came out and said, I'm done. He just threw 100 miles an hour and came out and said, I'm done. He just quit. Now, I watched Shohei, who I brought up, and then you made a comment about that. Shohei pitched 3 times in the World Series. 3 times. We couldn't even get Skubal to throw over 100 pitches before he said he was done personally.
But did Shohei not start pitching until way later in the season?
Because he was recovering.
The biggest contribution he made to this World Series win was with his bat as well. It wasn't with his arm.
Yeah.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto was more influential pitching than Ohtani was.
I don't. So I understand that situation that happened. I don't think that Skubal wanted to lose that game. I don't think any athlete or competitor wants to lose that game.
He doesn't want to lose, Zach. What he's trying to do, he was saving himself.
Well, I guess
to be honest, like he didn't want to end up being injured because he wants a big ass contract, whether it's with the Tigers or somebody else. The attitude that's what
I don't like about the relationship that they're trying. Like, I feel like they soured the waters with him, so now you're going to have him this year, and the same thing's going to happen when it didn't have to.
I don't think he's going to be there this year. Yeah, he's going to be there, and he's going to pitch his ass off because he wants a big contract somewhere. If they go out, you got to understand one thing. So, and then we're talking about this. You're a Mets fan. Cool. Mets are great. They're also a large market team. The Tigers are a small market team. They can't afford to pay a guy $500 million for 10 years. I know you brought up the last time about, the Illich's being worth $7 billion, something like that, but that's a different fucking business altogether. The Tigers are only worth so much.
They paid Miggy $300 million
for 10 years. And I'd do it all over again. But that also hurt us. They hurt us also. He was useless the last 4 years.
And I thought so too.
Yeah, it hurt us
too.
But I would do it all over again because it's Miggy. And Miggy would have died on that mound for us. Or not on the mound, but he would have died at fucking home plate batting for us. Like, that guy'd go out there hurt all the time.
But that's
we couldn't
all
even
he could do.
We couldn't get Skubal to pitch one more fucking inning. I want a guy like fucking Ohtani. Yeah, I want a guy like Ohtani that'll go out there and go like, I'll pitch every fucking day if you need me. I don't want a guy that's going to quit when we need one more inning out of him. Like, that's not worth the money to me. Yeah, he got paid, and he's willing to go do it. And I understand that. And that's what I'm saying about Skubal. Skubal was saving himself for that big contract, and I don't blame him. I don't, because like Eric's brought up a million times with sports, your career's only so long. Make the money when you can. Like, you never know what's going to happen. You could end up hurt next day and never be able to play another game. And the Tommy John things, I agree with you. Like, the medical science has gotten so good that they can come back, but you're talking, if he does it again, that's 3 Tommy John surgeries. Does he come back from that? Sure, but does he come back as a starting pitcher or a bullpen piece that can only pitch 30 pitches? And then you're paying a guy $500 million for 30 pitches, every, 3 games. Like, that's where you have to start looking at it, coming from a small market team. Now, a large market team like the Dodgers or the Mets or the Yankees, they got all the money in the fucking world. They don't give a shit. And that's why they can pay fucking Ohtani $700 million a year. The Tigers can't do that. Like, we got to take. I understand the Illich's own them, and they own so much.
Legit contract.
It's like $700 million.
Holy. Okay, I'm like, dude. That's
but it's not how they paid out. It's all on the back end.
Yeah, no, I'm like, that's ridiculous.
Well, I was gonna say,
Juan
you're not
Soto
paying that
on
all
a
up
15
front.
year, $700 million contract.
All right, sorry for
And the
interrupting.
sa-
I'm
the
just like, you
sal-
said that number and it flabbergasted me. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like,
It's a crazy
what did
number
I do
on the
wrong in
back
my
end.
life?
Yeah, no, it's a crazy
The
number on the
salary
back
is
end.
going up every year for everybody, and I understand that you're not going to pay that all up front. But when we talked last time too, I think I brought up that the Tigers' payroll was only like middle of the league, so it's not like this is a multi-billion dollar family that's not hurting for money when you're in pro.
Yeah, but that's a separate
sports.
business.
But when
It's
you're
a
in
multi-billion
pro
dollar
sports,
family
Enough to
based on a
not-
different business.
franchise.
you don't lose money in pro.
You do
sports.
lose money. Like, like when in a small market, you don't make the money that the Mets do and the Dodgers do and shit like that. Like, it's a small market. If you ever watch Moneyball, like the Mariner or fucking Oakland wasn't worth shit. They couldn't pay out shit because even though their owners are multi-billionaires, like the team still has to make money.
That was also more the owner of the Oakland A's doesn't want to put money into the franchise.
That's very
It's the
true
same
too.
thing with-
But
Same thing. the Red
And we
Sox
also
are dealing
discussed
right
that
now.
with the Illich family, and you guys mentioned that the old man
the old man would have
would
did
pay
it
the
100%.
people, but the
Yeah.
kids don't
Yeah.
because
Oh, they're proving
The
us wrong
money's-
now because they're throwing money around.
the money's
now.
there.
Yeah. So, but
And that's why I thought it was a slap in the face to hire Valdez basically the same day for more when after you. And so the other thing I was going to say is with Eric and we talk about there's this whole Detroit sports and the grit and the way that they build championships, and that's how we do things in Detroit. So here's the guy that you drafted and you developed, and he's been on your team, and he's got 2 Cy Youngs, but you don't want to treat him right. But you bring in
No.
a guy who wasn't in your development league, development team, farm system, and you're going to pay him more during arbitration. It feels like a fucking slap.
I tell you what, if he would have pitched that one more inning that we needed, I'd have gave him fucking all the money in the world.
Jason,
When you quit on us, fuck you.
Jason,
That's all I'm saying. Like,
you're a big.
I
MLB
want
guy.
an Ohtani that will throw his fucking arm off for the team. That'll die out there for the team. Scooble didn't want to do it. Like, and those are the players. That's a grit. You tell me one Lions player that wouldn't die in the field.
Disrespected, though?
No, I feel disrespected. I understand Scooble's point of view. I do, 100%. But on a team level, like, I want that guy who's going to go out there and go, Coach, I will keep pitching until my fucking arm falls off. I'm not going to quit when the team needs one more inning. I'm not going to quit after 5 if I can go 6 and push it late in the 7 when we're in an elimination game of the fucking playoffs and we can make it to the fucking World Series. Like, that's the guy I want. That was Ohtani. Who's the other Japanese pitcher from fucking the Dodgers that ended up starting 3 games that series too?
Yamamoto. Yoshinobu
Yeah, Yamamoto. That's another guy. You know what I mean? Like, I want those guys. I don't want a guy who goes, I've had 2 Tommy Johns already, and I don't want to throw my arm out before the end of the season so I can re-sign for a bunch of money. Like, I love Scooble, and I think he's the best pitcher in the league right now. I don't love the attitude at the end of last year. Like, I would rather rebuild, not sign him. And I think right now what they've done, I know it's a slap in the face to Scooble. I really do. Like, I know it. I think it's on a point. But by making that move, they can spend more money elsewhere and they can go all in this year. And they seem to be going in that direction of going all in this year. It's going to be a win it or nothing year.
Verlander is not an all-in.
No. I'm not saying Verlander's an all in. Valdez was the all in move. Verlander was to bring his ass home to retire here. I think they're going to pitch him out of the bullpen. I think that's where he's going to be useful. Plus, it's a veteran piece out there to help out with all these younger pitchers. Jason, give your thoughts on all this.
Yes,
I know
Jason.
you've been holding it in.
I'm very curious what you have to say, Jason.
Let me preface by saying respectfully, I understand where everybody's point of view comes from. I'm not dismissing that at all. Okay? Let me just say that. The fact of the matter
Zach,
is,
you're a dumb bitch.
no, I'm not even going to say that. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to fault you for. I'm not going to fault anybody for
I'm
having
just
an
kidding.
opinion.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But there's other aspects, especially when you're talking about sports, and more specifically when you're talking about certain, markets and teams and franchises. And while if you have a conversation about it, it often gets scoffed at, it gets laughed at, it gets dismissed because at the end of the day, realistically, any game is measured by too many points to not enough. Who won, who lost, who's in the standings, who's the best. Okay, that's why they play the game. With all that being said, let me just say a few things in relation to everything that we have talked about here, or everything that the Tigers are doing. I don't agree with the assessment that the way this arbitration bullshit shaked out was a bad look towards Tarek Skubal, and I'll tell you why. This would not have been as big of a
Not
story.
Scooble, the Tigers.
My mistake. My mistake. This would not be as big of a story. It wouldn't be as big of a source of of contention if shit was handled more behind the scenes, and it was not. And it was on Scooble's side of the equation with his agent and his representative going to the media and running his fucking mouth. That's what triggered everything. So I can see both. I can see it from the player side, and I can see it from the owner's side, because you're starting right out of the gate in bad faith, and you are setting a tone, and then it gets picked up by the media, and we all know how social media is. You know, Zach, you know as well as I do, there is a contingent of people that go on social media that is grouped as the IWC. They have that tag for a reason.
Yeah.
They have established themselves as this genre of fan. Baseball, football, hockey, they all have the same thing, right? Like that. That's just the way it is in this day and age. I personally, I was sad to see that it went this far. I was sad to see that it could not be handled quietly behind the scenes. But you got to be realistic here, and I do agree with the assessment that the marvels of modern medicine are extraordinary, and there is advances every single day that makes these athletes bigger, stronger, faster, everything, and to recover faster. But at the end of the day, we're still human beings, and we're made of flesh and bone and ligaments and all this shit, and that does break down. You start compromising all that. At what point do we then start asking the question, how much of this is an organic human? And I know that sounds ridiculous now, but mark my words, as we evolve, that's what it's going to wind up becoming. That's just evolution. The Detroit Tigers are under a lot of pressure for a lot of reasons. And seeing the success of the Detroit Lions, the seeing the success of the Red Wings and the Pistons, there is some degree of pressure where you need to make this team good, better than it was, because look how far this team has gone with what they've had to work with. Justin Verlander returning to the Tigers brings a boost in morality within the locker room that this team has been needing. And he is the right guy for this. And I hope that he's utilized as a bullpen guy, because that's where I feel like he would be most beneficial. The Detroit Tigers are making moves to seemingly go all in with making a very serious run towards the American League pennant. We've seen what they've done up to this point. Is Verlander that missing piece within the locker room to make a significant difference? Because it does start with mindset. If you go out on the field thinking you're the drizzling shits, guess what? You're going to play like the drizzling shits. if you get this renewed boost of support from the very tippy top, from the main office, all the way down to the locker room, this is what a lot of teams lack. When you get that camaraderie, when you get that passion, it does spill out onto the field. There is more than enough evidence to back that up. That's all I had to say.
I missed it.
Yeah,
all.
I agree. I agree. That's what I'm saying. Is like I think it was a bad look to not do that. So actually listened to Scooble's lawyer, his agent, and how the arbitration thing worked. And to me, it's interesting that you say that almost like you know for certain that all the negative feelings and whatever came from Scooble's side. When I've been listening to Detroit sports talk shows since I was a little kid, and one of those radio shows is Mike Valenti,
Oh yeah,
and he was blackballed by the Lions for not kissing up and saying what they wanted him to say.
right.
But what we know about these lawyers and these agents, they don't want their clients saying anything. So I don't know what we. It's very possible, Jason. I think you're an intelligent guy. I'm not. There's no disrespect here. I don't know enough about this particular situation, but what I do know about the overall relationship between teams and their agents and the coaches and the owners and the media is that the owners have way more say in the media than the players do. So I don't know where this idea that Scooble's side was the one that made this messy. I think that it was the Tigers' side.
Went on fucking Twitter and tweeted about it. Straight up. That's how
Who's
the
his
whole
agent?
thing started.
Scott Boras.
Yeah. Who is
I know
notorious
his
for
agent as
doing
being
this
a
shit.
Scott Boras is, yes, he's very vocal, very drag the team through the mud. I want to get all that I can for my players kind of guy. He has for the last 30 years.
His agent's the one that made everything messy. I think Scuba would have signed a 5-year contract for whatever, you know what I mean? But his agent's not really allowing him to do that. They're trying to, his agent's
Scott
the one
Boras
that's trying to
doesn't allow
push
that.
for 10 years.
Well, but I'm saying his job is you have these players on rookie contracts. They have no say. They have almost no. They have no leverage for 6 years. They have like some in the 4th year, some in the 5th year, and he's saying you guys are making a fortune off these players at this point. Scooble was a Cy Young winner, was being paid as the 102nd highest paid player in the league. And that makes no sense. And because he has the bargaining power of having guys like Blake Snells and other players at his disposal, these other multiples are Cy Young winners. This is what they get paid. And this is what actually matters.
It's not the money, I don't think. It's the yearly terms that they were looking for. Let's be honest with each other. Like, the money's not the issue. I'd give the guy
I've heard
fucking...
the 10-year thing, but he's not. I don't think that he's gonna go he's gonna leave the Tigers this year and get a 10-year deal. I think that's just.
I don't think so either.
Why wouldn't
you set
Plenty
the
of
bar
guys
this
at 30
high?
years old are getting 10 years.
You
deals.
set the bar up here, expecting to get negotiated down.
Yeah, and I think the Tigers, I mean, honestly, we don't know what the negotiations have been going on. We don't know what the Tigers offered him realistically. You know what I mean? Whether they offered him a 3 or a 5, but whatever they offered him the last time, they turned it down. And I don't know if it was money based or yearly based, but from what I was hearing through the media is it was based on the years. Like, he wants a long-term
I just
deal.
wouldn't fucking listen to the media about it.
Yeah, it's hard to say. We're not there, you know what I mean? But and that was my whole point from the beginning, all of this, even in the last one, Zach. I would never sign to a 10-year deal. Now, a large market team probably will, and good for him if he gets it, you know what I mean? But as the Tigers, as a fan of the Tigers, obviously I have no call in what happens because I don't know the team. I don't have any interest in, you know what I mean, that aspect. But as a fan of the team, I don't want to see, we did it with Miggy and it hurt, and I would do it all over again with Miggy. You know what I mean? Like, I love Miguel Cabrera. He was a cornerstone for this team. But it only cost us 20 something million a year. It didn't cost us, $500 million. It was what, 23 million a year that we signed
But
him
there's
for.
inflation, and so 10 years from
There's
now,
inflation. Yeah.
it's not going to be a big contract anymore.
No, but you're still
Just like-
sitting on
just
10
like,
years.
Just like Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, you're still sitting on 10 years on a one-way player. Like I said, if he was an Ohtani that could hit 50 home runs a year, 100%. Let's sign him for 10 years. Because even if he can't pitch, he can hit. You know what I mean? Like he's a one-way player, and you can't take that chance. Like 5 years max. That's all I was saying. It was just 5 years max. That's my call. Like if he wants anything more than 5, go to the Dodgers, go to the Mets, go to the Yankees. Like it would suck to see him go because I do think he's the best pitcher in baseball, but I don't want to see the Tigers go down that hole because then that just hurts the team, 7 years from now, 6 years from now. Like it's whatever. And does that even matter at this point in time? Because if it's going the way it's going with the Valdez signing, and I think we're going to see some fireworks going off with the Tigers here pretty soon. I really do think the Tigers are making an all-in move. And if they're doing that, does Scooble even matter next year? Because if you're going for it this year, you're going to lose a lot of pieces anyways. So like you go all in, and you hope for the best. Like we might not look that good next year, but let's go for it this year, and if that's a move they make, I mean, honestly, as Lions fans, there's a lot of people been bitching about the Lions should go all in, let's go all in. Let's just fucking go. Let's make the Super Bowl run this year. Like the Lions haven't done it. We might have a chance for the Tigers to do it this year. And we've seen it before. It didn't work out. We didn't win the World Series, but we made it there, and we went all in. I mean, we had Verlander, we had Scherzer, we had Cabrera, we had Fielder. I mean, we had so many pieces on this team. We went all in. Did we win? No, but we went all in. And then we
got swept.
We got swept. And then we sat in nothing for quite a while, and
that's not embarrassing. That's fun. That's fun
it was fun.
Like a threat.
Yeah, and I'm excited about this year. So if they're going all in, you don't sign Scooble to a 10-year deal. You save that money to back out or to back in so you can pay a bunch of other players to go all in this year. So I think that's the move they're making. They don't plan on signing him because they plan on going all in and using that money to bring some people here to make a run at it this year. And if that's the case, it's going to be a fun fucking year for the Tigers.
So I agree with you. I 100% agree with what you're saying. If the Tigers don't make any more signings, significant, we're talking about like starter signings, do you feel any different about it then?
I would. I think we need more bats. Like they need to sign some big bats.
They're all gone. All the big bats are gone.
You got to find somebody out there, whether or not they're a big bat somewhere else or somebody that we think that that we can develop. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you can find that.
Well, we're not talking about develop because develop means long term.
Not necessarily. Sometimes just the right batting coach can switch somebody around real quick. You know what I mean? Like if you see something out there that you see somebody that you think could develop real quick with just a small change. I mean, you can see changes in these players year to year. Let's be honest with each other. Like you can see changes players year to year. So like I understand that the big bats are gone, but if you can get somebody here who can hit 30, you get two people in here who can get 30 a year, like that's huge. Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking a 50 something home run a year guy, but if you can get somebody who can hit 20 to 30, you get a 20 and then a 30 in here
and just get on base.
Oh yeah, or somebody who can just get on base. Like that's the most important thing at the end of the day. If you can get on base and we can get base, runners in scoring position, that's almost more important than hitting all those home runs, to be honest. It's about putting runs on the board. So let's see who's out there who gets on the base the most. Like that might be the smartest move.
One of my favorite little jabs that my new best friend there, Eric, is this idea about development and grit. Detroit sports don't go out and get players from other teams. We build our own, or there's whatever. If these batting coaches could develop batters to do that, why would they have to go somewhere else to get them? You should be able to do that with any batter.
Well, let's be honest with each other too. Like the Tigers have one of the best farm systems in the league.
Well, in reality, we just went and got that pitcher Valdez. Yeah, we just went and got him. So yeah, we're not trying to develop. The Tigers are making.
That's what's funny about it.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's
why it's funny.
Well, that's it. Well, that's the
I
difference
agree with you on
between
that.
like,
That they went out and got a big name, because watching his highlights from last year and everything, I'm like, dude, he's everything we need in a 1-2 punch, and that's what we got.
yeah, and I think that's the difference between, yeah, we like to develop players up, Zach, but when you're going all in, you go out and grab players, and I think that's why this is an all in year. You know what I mean?
And most of the championships we've won, we've made big trades in it. Like we trade for Rashid, and the Pistons back then, they made trades and they got other players, and they make trades.
Yeah. And speaking of that, it's 7:23, so we need to move on to the Red Wings and the Pistons, boys.
We'll go ahead and use this as a transition into the Red Wings, because also that took place this week was the announcement of the future of Detroit Red Wings and Tigers TV exposure. The Illick Sports and Entertainment put out a press release yesterday that has entered a first of its kind partnership with Major League Baseball, which will provide broadcast support to both the Tigers beginning with this season in 2026 and the Detroit Red Wings. If you're following along, yes, the Red Wings are going to be produced by MLB. The partnership creates a new platform where fans throughout our home television territory can watch games when and where they want through the same options they have been recently available. Information on cable and satellite providers, as well as streaming subscriptions, will be announced at a later date. We talked about this. This was where it was going. The Illages have pulled away from FanDuel Sports, and what a complete fucking nightmare that whole thing has been. That company has filed for bankruptcy, and now it looks like we're going to be able to at least hopefully more easily assess games with the Tigers and the Detroit Red Wings. The partnership is very unique, because when you have a hockey team that's going to be included in an MLB produced environment, that says a lot. Tigers are going to be one of 9 teams that are going to be part of the MLB produced umbrella. So it's going to be kind of cool to see how all this. I'm just glad they're out of FanDuel.
Yeah.
It was the drizzling shits. I do not have a graphic for the Red Wings this week, but we can say that their last game before the Olympic break, a 4-1 loss to the Utah Mammoth. Were you able to watch this, Eric?
I did not be able to watch that one. I definitely thought it was going to be a better game than what it was. But I think this limited break's going to be good for them, hopefully, because history's past, injuries has happened in the Olympics, and it could either it could mess us up on where we're at, and that's for any team. Any teams now in the number 1, 2, 3 spot leading their divisions, it could cause drastic measures for them. So I hope no injuries happen. I hope we come back strong, and who knows what the rest of the season will be.
Are we worried at all now that we're starting to get into like February, March, and like honestly, they're
getting back to that up and down range.
They're getting back to the up and down.
0-5 to the Avalanche, and they go to the Avalanche and beat them 0-2, and then you drop a 4-1 loss to Utah. They're back on that up and down where they just can't get a string of wins going.
And this is kind of where we ended up last year too, where they started out like
about this
good,
time
and then
is when it started going downhill, and hopefully this Olympic break will give them what they need, and who knows,
Totally. And I think that's just starting to show the youth of the team right there. You get some of these more veteran teams that can go later into the season and they know when to hold out and stuff like that. But Jason, are you worried about where they are currently?
No, not at this point. If they come out of the Olympic break and they stumble the first 4 out of 7, then I'm going to start raising an eyebrow or two, just to be like, okay, let's get back on track here. Consistency, we've talked about this. They've got to be more consistent, and that seems to be a pattern here. I mean, we saw it with the Tigers. They stumbled into the All-Star break. They come out of the All-Star break and had such a hard time regaining their footing. The Pistons remain to be seen, what this is going to look like on the other side of their All-Star break. Because I mean, momentum is a funny thing, man. Like there's a lot to be said for that. But as of right now, the Red Wings are still in second place, and I'm not worried at this point, barring anything major that happens between now and the end of the Olympics.
Okay.
Skylar?
I think this is a great opportunity for the Red Wings. They're third place in the division, but coming back out of their next 10 games, only 3 of them are against playoff teams currently. If they're going to get anything going, this is a good stretch of games to get the puck in the back of the net, get comfortable, and get some confidence going into the stretch run before the playoffs.
Okay. Okay.
Zach? The Penguins fan?
Skylar, go ahead and tell them about the Bruins, Skylar.
The Bruins, you know what? I don't need to talk about the Bruins here.
Well, why not? They're an original 6. They're so great.
Not just because we're original 6 doesn't mean anything.
I agree, but they don't. Go ahead and tell them.
I mean, this is a down year for us once again, but we're in the wild card. We're looking at trying to make a run for the playoffs, but
Yeah,
you never know.
February. It's February. The Bruins can turn around. They some reason always do. They got
say,
very good. When it comes to longevity, they come to longevity. They come out, and they usually towards the end of the season they start putting They're putting win streaks together. That's how they usually make the playoffs. Even if they're a wild card, they're still in.
And they have the best player in the league, Morgan Geekie. No.
No, I mean he
Eric?
leads the team in goal.
Eric, come on.
I haven't heard
He's not
much.
even our best player.
Yeah,
But his last name is Geeky.
Not just because he's got a silly name.
They don't get a smile out of you. Eric, do you ever smile?
No, I do, but I want to hear about how I think the Olympic break's going to handle your Penguins, because they're in second place too in their division, and I'm very curious on that because I know Crosby's getting older. I know they've definitely.
But he's also playing phenomenal.
Is he? I haven't seen much what he's doing. That's why I was curious.
He's on pace for his second best season of his career.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Okay.
Gino Malkin and Sidney Crosby are both healthy at the same time, which is a danger for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Rust and Anthony Mantha, same thing. They're all in their 30s.
Yeah, Mantha?
Yep.
Okay,
They're
I did not know
older.
that.
The Red Wings obviously traded Jari for Stuart Skinner to the Oilers for a defenseman and a 29 pick.
Yep.
Skinner obviously has the benefit of having great run or goal support with Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid, but Sidney Crosby is turning back the clock. He's having a MVP Hart Trophy type year.
Okay.
So as long as he keeps it up, everything's going good. They're an older team, which what worries me personally. They don't have a lot of young talent. We have Ben Kindle, who's been playing pretty solid for us as a 18-year-old, but outside of that, a lot of older guys.
Yeah,
so if we're gonna make a run, it's gotta be the next. It's gotta be the next year or two. But things are looking up because similar to Skyler with the Bruins, I think the Penguins are like 4th in the league in goals scored per game. Okay. And in order for us to be competitive, we have to keep scoring goals.
Well, yeah, 100%, and hopefully their defense steps up. But yeah, I knew they were an older team, and I didn't know if maybe this Olympic break worried about injuries, because I know freak things happen, and usually players go all out for their countries and all that, so that worries me. But yeah, so I'm happy to see Sid the Kid doing good in how long he's doing it. If this is gonna be his second
twilight years.
Yeah, it's definitely happy to see him coming back up and showing why he was such a good prospect when he got drafted. So yeah, so that's good.
And for me, I don't know about you, Eric, because I think we're about a year apart. But not just being like a Red Wing or a Penguins with my Penguins cap on.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Crosby and Ovechkin when they came in, because they came in 18, 19 years old, and the old guard of the league did not like the fact that there was 18, 19-year-old kids that were the face of the league. They were taking cheap shots. Sidney Crosby got the moniker or the persona of being soft or whatever.
Yep.
I don't believe that to be the case. there's been documentaries about like the old school goons and the Ice Warriors and stuff. Crosby didn't have the same benefit that a lot of the 90s and 80s all-star scorers had.
Yeah.
There's videos of Wayne Gretzky skating by himself on the opposite end of the rink while the entire teams were fighting. They don't
Oh, yeah.
have that anymore.
Yeah.
So I feel like Crosby and Ovechkin. I also had a pet duck named Ovi, obviously after Ovechkin. Those guys didn't have the benefit of like you have goons that are purposely there to just go out there and hit anybody who touches you.
Yeah,
They don't have
you
that.
had the enforcers.
So
Yeah, no,
I
see
feel
what
like
you're saying.
Crosby got a bad rap. I know people that know him as Sidney Crosby. I feel like it's lame. But anyways, Penguins kind of got an uphill battle to climb if they want to win a championship because they don't have a lot of youth on their side.
Yeah. Well, that veteran can definitely help out because that's what helped the Red Wings out in the late 2000s and all that. But do you think Crosby got a little bit overlooked when him and Ovechkin came in the league? Because I heard more about Ovechkin than I did Crosby when they both came in. Do you think that was a thing? Because I'm just curious.
No, I feel like in North America, with U.S. and Canada, I felt like I knew way more about Ovechkin than Crosby.
Yeah.
The same kind of negative stereotypes about Crosby now about him being being soft. I felt like existed back then, even though I didn't see it.
Yeah.
But Ovechkin being a Russian and being who he is, and Ovechkin to me is a much more complete player than Crosby.
Yeah.
No.
My favorite Penguin right now is Gino Malkin. But Ovechkin is such an amazing player who hits and fights and does everything.
Yeah, he does everything.
when you
He's not
expect
afraid
him
of
to.
anything. Yeah.
He is my favorite player of this generation. I'm happy to have been able to watch him.
Yeah. Okay. All right, I think we're on the same page with that.
All right. We'll finish up the Red Wings here real quick.
Yeah,
But the one thing I want to say, and we brought up in the chat, who was it? Was it Eric that put the comment that you put up there a little bit ago? I want to say one thing about the Red Wings. All I want out of the Red Wings this year is to make it to the playoffs. Do I expect them to win it all this year? Maybe not. If they do, more power to them, and I'd be excited as hell for it. But if we can just make it to the playoffs,
Well, I hear a lot of rumors.
you're in the step
about-
of the right
I
direction.
hear a lot of rumors that Eisman's going to be very aggressive towards the trade deadline. We'll see what happens.
And if he is, awesome. You know what I mean? Like, I just
that's what we need.
we need a step in the right direction. We haven't been in the playoffs in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So like, let's make.
I
it
heard
to the
Eisner
playoffs.
been suiting up.
Well, I mean, that'd be fucking awesome. Let's get
that'd be interesting.
Let's get Fedorov out there. Let's just fucking
go.
bring him back. Like, let's bring back the Russian 5. Like, let's fucking roll. But anyways, Jason, let's lead off to our next topic here.
All right, let's switch over to the association where the Detroit Pistons are still maintaining their level of dominance in the Eastern Conference. They started last Tuesday, with a 124-120 win over the Denver Nuggets. Thursday, they dropped one to the Washington Wizards, 126-117, before rebounding on Friday. Huge win over the New York Knicks, 118-80. And then we saw a little bit of fireworks last night in Charlotte with a 110-104 win. The only game they got coming up this next week, Wednesday, will be in Toronto to play the Raptors.
Yep, because then the All-Star break hits.
Not a real
Yes.
team. So
What's that?
not a real team. So we don't have to worry
Why is that?
because they don't have a pope.
I knew.
Still a team we got to worry about. They need this
No,
win.
they do.
They need this win going into the All-Star break, and hopefully nothing changes.
I
but
needed to throw a pope.
It was,
joke in there at one point.
it was a 3-1 week for him, and I'm happy.
Yeah,
You know?
no, it was a good week. Pistons are still rolling.
Did I
Some
expect
fireworks
them,
last night.
Did I expect them to lose to the Wizards? No, I expected them to lose to the Nuggets, but I'll take it.
Yeah, like a little bit of fireworks last night, though. A little bit of fighting on the court there last night, Jason.
Yeah, of all places, look. Apparently things got a little heated down in Charlotte. Okay. Now, I expect things like this with teams like the Lakers, the Bulls, something with the I could go so far as say
Pacers?
Indiana. Yeah.
Yeah. Malice at the Palace.
But the Charlotte Hornets was not on my bingo card of teams that I thought that I would be hearing that the Detroit Pistons were scrapping with. But this is going to wind up probably more than likely leading to 4 suspensions for
More
some
than
time
likely.
for both teams here. But coming out of this last week, 3-1, and you're right, Tim. I'm right there with you. I thought Denver was going to be the
Oh, that was me.
so dropping the one to the Wizards, I was like, all right, I didn't call that one right, but another winning week for the Detroit Pistons, so I'm happy about that.
I'm still worried about some of those teams in the West, though. Like, you get to the finals, it could get a little rough. The East is a little soft compared to some of these teams in the West. OKC is still.
I'd say it's the other way around.
I don't know, man. Like,
I'd say it's the other way around.
I mean,
Thunder,
any of
the Thunder can score, but we have about the same record as them right now.
we do.
So
It's hard to tell. Like, you see,
anyways.
you don't think the Thunder are going to make it?
No, the Spurs will.
I
I
could see
think-
that
I'm
too.
thinking
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. The
Spurs
Spurs are definitely.
are 4-1 against OKC right now. They got their number.
That is true.
Play that when you get into those stretches of those playoffs, man. Though things can change up pretty quick, and that's a scary thing. It's
We'll only find out. But
Yeah.
Sky, what's your opinion on the Pistons how they're doing this season so far?
I mean, it's been fun to watch. They got an exciting team. Cade Cunningham's really taken that step forward to be a superstar, but I want to see what they look like going into the playoffs. I want to see how they actually handle the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Last year they had it was a little exciting series with the Knicks, but I think they've got to be able to handle business in the East before you worry about anybody in the West, especially
That's
if being a Celtics fan, if we get Jason Tatum back before the end of the year, I mean,
That'll be a good
something you got
series.
to watch out for. The Knicks are, a team that could beat anybody in the league. The Cavaliers just went out and got James Harden, so
That is
you
true.
never know if they can explode for a bunch of points or not. So the Pistons got to solidify themselves as the actual dominant force in the East before you worry about anybody out West.
I think they've been doing a pretty good job of that so far, but we'll see how it carries late into the season. I mean, we just passed the All-Star break, so let's see how
Getting ready to.
the later part of the season turns out. Like we watched our Tigers last year. Jason brought this up earlier. Tigers dominated.
They did.
Dominated
All-Star break.
till the All-Star
Downhill.
break, and then they kind of just slowed that pace down. So I'm hoping the Pistons don't turn around and do the exact same thing, because that's what it worries me. You're scared as a Detroit fan because you've seen this over and over again. So if they can continue the dominance after that All-Star break, then I feel good about them. But right now is the time to start really wrenching down and playing some good basketball, and that's what we need them to continue to do.
Jack, what's your opinion on their start so far?
I've been really impressed by the Detroit Pistons, obviously, because prior to the last 2 years, they haven't been very much fun to watch.
Mhm.
But all of a sudden, they found their groove. They got some players. They got the coach. I feel like they believe in themselves, which is a huge thing to any team. Is when you start believing that you can win. The cons of this is I think that fighting with the Charlotte Hornets is kind of a visual or PR problem for the Pistons when the Charlotte Hornets don't give a fuck who you are, even though you're the most dominant team in the East. So to me, they need to. It sounds like people aren't respecting them, and I've been making the joke, and it's a joke, guys. But as a Pacers fan, I've been telling people that with the Pacers being on the sidelines this year, that maybe Daddy needs to come home and spank them and give them a little discipline and put them back in their place, because after Malice in the Palace, they weren't fighting anybody until now. And now here's the Charlotte Hornets coming there and slapping you guys, fighting with you guys, and not scared.
Okay.
I feel like you need to make people afraid of you, and people don't. If the Charlotte Hornets are willing to fucking fight you, then you have a problem.
You know, the downfall of that is, Zach, is that we still beat the
It's
Hornets.
not
even though
that.
the fight happened.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, you could have started 4 players and beat them. It could be 4 versus 5 and beat them.
Well, I wouldn't knock the Hornets, man. I kind of like the Hornets. That was one of my favorite teams growing up.
I like
besides
them more than the
Bulls.
Pelicans.
I was always a Muggsy Bogues fan.
Everybody
Yeah.
likes the Hornets or the Pelicans because they got the very nice, cool purple starter jacket.
No, that's fucking fuck the. That's
know,
the
I'm having-
dumbest fucking name ever. It's almost as bad. What's the other team that I hate?
Kraken.
The
Oh,
Kraken.
Kraken, yeah.
The fuck kind of sports
Yeah,
team
the
is that?
Kraken.
Fuck
I like
off.
the Kraken. The Kraken's
What I
cool.
want to see. What I want to see is the TCU Horned Frogs versus the Minnesota Golden Gophers in the national championship.
That would be okay.
That would be okay. With
That would be okay with that.
I'd be
But
okay
the
with that.
Kraken
The Horned
or
Frogs.
the Pelicans, how much fear do the Pelicans bring to you? Now, honestly,
I
the
ain't
Pelicans
fucking
are
with
pretty
birds.
fucking. Yeah, and like I'm not gonna fuck with birds either, but I'm not fearful of a fucking pelican. You know what I mean? Like it's just it's a dumb
Yeah,
fucking
not
name.
compared to some sort of falcon or eagle or
Exactly.
That's
I want caw. And speaking on that note, it's time for a fucking. Oh fuck!
They're definitely a little bit more intense now. Okay, I can't leave you alone. Holy shit!
What is this, snuff or smelling
Oh,
salt?
Oh, it's smelling salts, man.
yeah, you put a little water in that. Holy shit!
Oh, that shit's fucking potent now. We're ready to party. But yeah, no, I think the Pistons just need to keep rolling. They need to prove that coming, we're getting close to that All-Star. But
I'm also hoping with you guys, my Pacers are obviously out of the fucking race. They've been out since probably like week
2.5.
game 1.
Before the season started. They were done. I'm taking the New York Knicks to beat the Pistons if they played in the playoffs.
Not
And
even close.
open bet to you guys to come up with the terms, how it's going to work out.
We'll
we
talk
talked about
about
it.
that. If they match up in the playoffs, we'll talk about that.
No, I think after last year, the revenge is sweet because they've beat them the last 2 times.
Oh, and they not only beat them, but this past week they beat them at 38 points.
Yeah, they dominated.
Yeah, but
So-
now the Charlotte fucking Pella Hornets are slapping them in the face.
Just
Well,
'cause they're
they got
gonna
to
slap
fight
in
with
the
them,
face
but
don't
the
mean they
Hornets
didn't win the
still
game.
lost. Pistons still won that game, even
They
through
weren't
all that.
supposed to
Pistons still
win.
won. No, but they still won. it,
Jalen
so.
Brunson.
Sometimes you gotta fight, man. Like I'm all about just
My
knocking the
biggest-
shit out of people.
My
Like,
biggest worry is what Skylar said. If they get Tatum back, I'm worried about the Boston because they're going to get that momentum right at the end of the year, and with their star player coming back ready to go, he's going to be fresh.
And we just
Those
traded
nerds.
for Nikola Vucevic from the Bulls, who's
Exactly.
one of the
So,
better
yeah, so-
one of the better centers in the league. So I
Yeah,
mean,
so I think the real sleeper is going to be the Celtics if we meet up with them. I can see us meeting up with them in the East Championship.
you can say all you want about the Knicks, Zach, but we're without our best player. We're still tied for first place. In the
But we
East, you
know
in the-
we
in the
know that the
Atlantic
East
Division with the
is
Knicks.
shite.
I think the East is stronger than the West. There's only like 3 teams in the West.
I was gonna say,
Absolutely
yeah. Once
not.
you get outside of the Thunder, the Spurs, and the Nuggets, the West.
Yeah,
is
those are the only
pretty
3 I
open.
worry about. That's it. The
Yeah,
Lakers can't play defense.
no, and they're in shambles with their team and everything.
Yeah, like
else.
I'm like
All
the
their
East.
shit
The East
is
I'm not
bad.
has
worried.
East has way more.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not too worried about
What?
Kevin Durant and the Rockets.
You guys are the only ones who think that. I think you're just lit.
Oh, I haven't had enough beer to get lit yet, brother. This isn't like the last show. Like I'm 3 beers in, going on 4 now. So
I'm only a little bit of Johnny Walker Red Label, the drink of Winston Churchill.
see, I'm not going hard into the whiskey like we did the last time because I got fucking hammered the last time we had you on the show.
Well, Fireball is not whiskey.
And like I had to watch back the show, and apparently I hit Eric and shit with a baseball bat that show that I didn't remember that he had to pull back up on video to prove to me. Like I was fucking lit. I don't remember much of the last show, but anyways, the Pistons, my son called out. He was on the show 5 weeks ago. He said the Pistons were going to win it all this year. I don't know if they're going to win it all, but if we can make a deep playoff run, possibly make it to the finals, I think that's a successful season, to be honest. You know, they've been moving up that path, and I think they can add to it. But I think they just made some great trades this past week, and I'm excited to see about which way this team can go. And hopefully they can just keep their shit together now after, you know, with everything going on, and even through all the fights, let's keep the shit going on. Let's just keep playing. Vinny in the chat saying he's jealous. He's drinking coffee. Vinny, it's Tuesday night. It's beer drinking night. Unless you're going to work like Jason, because he works midnights. Yeah, Jason's drinking coffee too, because he's got to go work the old night shift. But I'm feeling pretty good about the Pistons right now. Jason, let's move on to the next segment real quick, which we want to cover the Olympics.
Yeah, let's look at the Olympics. What's going on right now in that last check? Oops, stand by. I had it all. Okay. The United States is currently, in terms of medal count, currently in 4th place with 2 gold, 3 silver, 2 bronze. So a total of 7. Leading the pack is Norway, followed by Italy, then Japan, the Americans, Germany, Sweden. So I'll be honest, I haven't been able to watch a shit ton of the Olympics this year. I did make point to watch a little bit of curling on demand.
Yeah.
Because I had to. Yeah, you know, Tim's enthusiasm for it, I wanted to. I needed to be brought up to speed as to what's going on. They actually, the mixed doubles, I think it is, just medaled. I believe it was a silver medal.
Silver, yes.
So good outing there. Still, you know, ice hockey is still very much something that I'm looking forward to. But in terms of, you know, the overall Winter Olympics, just like the last session with the Summer Games, man, there just isn't that same kind of anticipation that it used to be. I remember the Calgary Games in '88, and it seemed like we got 6-8 months worth of hype before those games started. Now here we are, and I'll be honest, up until a couple weeks ago, I forgot that this was an Olympic year for the Winter Games. But with that being said, Tim, aside from curling, do you have a favorite Winter Olympic sport? And if so, what's been the highlights so far?
Well, I mean, curling is obviously my favorite Winter Olympic sport, and we started out the show talking about it. I don't understand it at all, and there's nothing wrong with that. As long as I can drink cold beer and watch those guys sweep and scream at each other, or, you know, the mixed couples, you know, the male and the female screaming at each other, I am 100% behind curling. But I like it all, to be honest. Like, whether or not, like, and big shout out, Vin brought up a little bit ago, he said he felt bad for Lindsey Vonn there. And yeah, I do too. This is probably Lindsey Vonn's last run in the Olympics. She's 40. So by the time the next time the Winter Olympics come around, she's going to be 44. But I mean, like, she went out there with a torn ACL trying to make that run. And it was sad to see how it ended. But props to her for just putting everything on the line and going for it anyways, knowing that it's her last run there. And it didn't turn out how she wanted it to, but I still prop her up and say, hey, like, you gave it your all and you didn't quit. So that's worth a lot. So, I mean, we were watching, you know, snowboarding the other night. That's always a lot of fun. Me and Amy were sitting down drinking, watching that, like, almost all of them. And, like, I mean, skeleton, shit, you watch skeleton, that shit's crazy. Who the fuck wants to do that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that shit's dangerous as hell. And the fucking American, did you guys see the clips of the American bobsled team with the one person who ended up in the bobsled?
Yep.
Oh, fuck. That was a shafty way to go out right there. Only one of them made it into the bobsled. You had a single bobsled rider riding down the fucking hill. It was crazy. Jason, did you see that?
I did not. No.
Oh, you got to watch clips of that. Like, it was just shambles. Vinny, yeah, I mean, 100%. She's a fighter, and I 100% respect that. But almost all of these sports, like, my wife gets into the figure skating, in which I think we get We got a gold in figure skating already this year. The U.S. did.
Yep.
So my wife gets into that. I'm not so much on the figure skating thing unless it's Will Ferrell out there figure skating. I'm not really much interested in it. You know, Blades of Glory, one of the greatest movies ever made. I do got to give a shout out to that
a good
movie.
one.
Great movie,
100%.
fantastic movie.
Yes, a fantastic movie. I don't know if the Jamaican bobsled team made it. I haven't seen much bobsled yet, other than the Americans failing to make it into the thing. But these sports are crazy, and I'm all about the Winter Olympics. Like this winter, summer. Jason, I don't know. You're talking about hype, dude. I've been hyped about the Winter Olympics for like 6 months. Like, but I get behind the Olympics. Like this is my happy place. Cold beer and sports I don't understand. That's my happy place. Like 100%. Summer Olympics. One of my favorite sports is fucking table tennis.
That was a good
I watched the fucking
tennis is
Chinese and
alright.
North
I'd
Korean
rather
team
watch-
go. Yeah, what's that, Skylar?
I'd rather watch the badminton. The badminton's crazy in the Olympics.
That's
Badminton is
another
good, too.
one.
That is
I
good.
don't understand the fucking rules, but I'll watch it all day long. Table tennis, they just fucking
Water polo.
Another one.
Watch people wrestle in a pool while they have a looks like a volleyball that they're throwing into a soccer net. I mean, I don't really
100%.
understand the rules or anything, but it's crazy.
Yeah, 100%. I'm all about this. You give me a cold beer in these sports I don't normally follow, I will fucking just sit there and watch it for hours. Like, this is exciting to me. But the one thing I do have to say, the United States, we have a pope. You need to step this shit up. You should be leading the pack. You entered, like, I think it was 242 athletes in this Winter Olympics. We need to come away with so many golds. We don't know what the fuck to do with
We're
it.
happening golf this week.
And we're not on golf yet.
We should be.
No, we're not. We're still talking Olympics. Get off your shit, Eric. Just because you don't watch the Olympics.
No,
You
I
don't
want to hear about the Pope the fucking 100th time on this podcast.
That's only the second time I brought up the Pope.
Oh my, okay.
Or is it
Jason,
the three? Is that
It's been 300 times you brought up the fucking Pope.
Is that
Brought
two
up
or
it-
three?
You brought up every week during NFL season.
because it's very relevant for NFL season.
Especially if the Bears are playing.
You're not wrong.
See? Now once you fucking agree with me.
I agree with Scott.
Oh, you agreed with Skylar, which is
Yeah, not you.
in terms agreed with me.
I thought I made a
Jamaican-
compelling
The Jamaican
case for why.
bobsled team did make it to the Olympics.
See, right there.
I thought I made a compelling case for why the Pope isn't actually from Chicago.
You
and
did.
I don't know
So,
where he's from.
like pizza grease and stuff like that. I remember that.
He's got no pizza grease or Italian beef juice on his
I don't
fucking
know.
clothes.
He was on TV during the 2005 World Series that the White Sox won. Like, there's video proof of him during the game in the crowd.
That could be CGI'd.
It's AI. It's hard to tell what's AI and what's not AI. But Zach, Skylar, what have you guys been enjoying with the Olympics so far? Besides,
well, I
curling. we've covered curling many times already.
Fuck, man, I
You're
love
big
curling.
curling
I've
guy.
watched most of the matches, including both today. I watched a little bit of women's hockey. I watched the free dance. I don't know what the different rules are for figure skating versus free dance or how that shit works. And
It's a beautiful thing about the Olympics, man. You don't have to understand the rules. You just have to enjoy it.
Watch it.
But you know what bothers me, and I'll say this and I'll shut up. When I watched like the entire whatever session it was, and they're judging each one of these couples differently, but I can't tell the difference. I don't know. I want to be able to say this one looked better than that one, but when they have like live scores for each of their little segments, and I'm like, that one looks just like the last one. So I don't have the eye for figure skating. I know the quad god is American, so that's great. Go U.S. hockey. Go the Miracle Team of 1980, and that's all I got.
Skylar?
All I've really watched so far out of the Olympics is, curling, because curling is one of the greatest winter sports that's ever been invented. A little bit of the women's ice hockey so far. I watched Italy get their teeth kicked in by Finland. That was a ridiculous game. But other than that, I've watched a lot of the skiing, the couple of snowboarding events that have happened so far. one of my personal favorite winter Olympic events is they had a final today. The women's finals tomorrow is the biathlon. Nothing better than random people just cross country skiing and then stopping to shoot at some targets.
I did
Hell
watch.
yeah.
I did watch that Sunday before the Super Bowl, and that was amazing.
No idea
just the
what
accuracy they
they're
had to
really
be
going
on and
for,
all that.
yeah.
Yeah, like that was ridiculous.
No, it is. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm like it's laughing because it's a cool.
It was ridiculous.
Multifaceted, multi-skilled. Like most people couldn't last just doing the first stage.
Well, and it's very, very dominated by Norway. I don't think I've seen in my life Norway not have
Germany and Sunday was hitting those targets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and gone. Like they were definitely doing good. So, but yeah, I agree with you on that, Skyler. That is a great sport to watch.
And other than that, I'm just ready for the men's hockey. Hopefully, we get that USA-Canada matchup that everybody's been waiting for.
Oh, we will. It'll be interesting. We'll see what happens.
Jason.
I would love for that to be a thing, and when it come down to the Americans and the Canadians, especially something like that. Like that's especially this part of the world. Like you have people's attention now, so I'm really hoping that winds up becoming a thing. But yeah, I've got some catch up to play and I'm glad that Peacock, NBC Universal has the streaming rights to it because I can go on Peacock and watch replays and highlights and things of that nature. With that, unless there's anything else with the Olympics that we need to discuss, that brings us to Tim's main event this week and his 2 minutes of golf.
Oh, what are the, hold on. This is Tim's 2 minutes of golf talk, brought to you by the PFC Entertainment Network. This past weekend we had the Waste Management Phoenix Open, which we've been, I don't know if because I've probably been the only one that's been looking forward to this because it was Brooks Koepka's second tournament since being back on the PGA Tour, and we'll talk about how he did as we get into it. But first off, the winner of this thing was Gadarup. That's the second win of the season, so he's had a hot start this season. In second, we had Matsuyama. Tied for third, we had a five-way tie for third. We had Hogard, Thorborson, Scheffler. Scheffler made a run at this thing. He ended up one back. I thought he was going to come back and win this thing. But we also had Batia and Kim. In eighth, we had Knapp. Ninth, Fitzpatrick. And in 10th, we had a three-way tie between sometimes I fuck up these golf names. Fucking A. Hisatusuni, Cootie, and Hovland at -12 another. But Brooks Koepka, as the second return to the PGA Tour, he didn't even make the cut. He finished 2 over. So not a good start for the return to the PGA for Brooks Koepka. But overall, Gadarup, good start for the year. 2 wins already this year. That's a fucking hot start. Let's see if he can continue that this season. But next week we'll be looking at the PGA returning to Pebble Beach for the AT&T Pro-Am, which will also be my wife's favorite golfer, Rory McIlroy's first start of the season. So this is going to be another exciting one to watch. I will be keeping my eye on it. Right now, betting odds has Scheffler winning this thing and Rory in second at plus 1,400. So if you think Rory's going to make his first start, come out hot and win it, plus 1,400 is pretty good fucking odds for Rory McIlroy. So it might be a betting weekend for Eric.
No, I've never been on golf.
Scheffler,
I'll give it a shot.
Scheffler's at plus 300.
Well,
Rory's at plus 1,400.
You might convince me.
So let's look at it. But another great week for the PGA, and we're leading up to another exciting week with the AT&T Pro-Am at Pebble Beach coming up. But that was Tim's 2 minutes of golf talk here on the Sports Real Podcast on the PFC Entertainment Network. Jason.
Well, certainly appreciate that, Tim, and Zach and Skylar. We appreciate. What's so funny, Chuckles? What happened? You okay?
I just want to say, lastly, Tim, I hope to be able to golf with you one day. Um, thanks for having us back, having me back.
That's another
I
great
hope,
time.
I hope people that are listening at home and that you guys understand that I'm just trying to create good conversation. A lot of times I don't necessarily mean what I'm saying. I'm just saying things that I think are possible. And thanks for having us. And I'll pass the baton to whoever, Skydog, Eric. Eric, it was good talking to you.
Yep.
Not so much last time, but it was great this time.
Jason,
Thank
lead us
you.
off, brother.
Well, hold on real quick before Jason leads us off. Do you guys want to plug all your channels real quick?
Yep.
Oh, Jive Sports. We're based in Muskegon, Michigan. Skydog and myself. Skydog can introduce himself again. Muskegon, we love all sports, all everything, and we're friends to all furry woodland creatures.
It depends on the furry woodland creature. Some of them I'm not too friendly with, but yeah. Thanks for letting us on. It was a good time. I think we covered all the bases on what we needed to with Detroit sports, and I would like to say that Schefter did announce the ratings for the Super Bowl. It was the second most watched Super Bowl ever. Average viewers were 124.9 million.
Yeah.
But I'm sure people will. There's people out there that will say that's not true. But
I mean,
Yeah.
that's not my problem.
There will.
So,
Right.
all right, Jason, lead us off, brother.
All right, real quick. Tim and Eric, I got something to show you as something of a preview.
Uh-oh.
Stand by.
We're standing.
I'm standing.
whoa, send me a hoodie.
This is not on the PFC store. This is going to be the launch of PFC sportsreel.printify.me.
Oh, we finally got our own page.
You guys get your own store. So
It's we, not us. It's we.
Yeah, it's we. You're a part of this show too, Jason.
You and your
yeah.
big, bald, beautiful head.
It's very shiny.
Do you
Very
guys got
shiny.
like 3 minutes for Royal Rumble or no?
That's Jason's thing. That's on a different show.
Real
All
quick.
right, then we're out. See ya.
That opens up a whole can. We will be live as a programming note this Friday on the Fatal Four-Way live on ONTV.org, their Facebook and YouTube. So check us out there. With that, go out this week. Be awesome to yourselves and to each other. And we'll see you next week right here on the Sports Reel podcast on the PFC Entertainment Network.